Alright guys, what's up? Long time no see. I'm gonna give you guys an updated toolbox tour of my toolbox. Obviously since moved on from the dealership life, now at an aftermarket shop, which I've been really enjoying. But yeah, let's go ahead and get started. So obviously still got the 68-inch Snap-on Epic. Added a hutch to it a few years ago, and got speakers up on top, edifier speakers. This is my little sticker wall I got going. I don't like stickers on the front, but I'm fine with them being on the side. Got the same Logitech speakers I had last time in there, and then split off to some edifiers as well. And then that's the Logitech sub. Sounds pretty good. Got a fan up there. Bent rod I changed out on a Jeep Patriot that I did a fuel service on, and it decided to suck up all the fluid into one cylinder and bent that rod. So that was fun. Air tool oil and just some miscellaneous stuff inside the hutch. Gloves, safety glasses, stickers, dual monitors, winch hook and shackle, Mustang badges, Trackhawk badge, Magnum valve or Mopar valve cover from a Magnum 5.2 or 5.9 Toyota, some shift knobs, some headlamps, Streamlight, Ryobi light, Mako lights, pens and stuff, Ryobi charger and Mako charger, and then that's my magnet wall from Rock Auto. So I'll go ahead and try and speed through this. Socket drawer. Pretty much all these sockets have been great. Had a lot of these for a long time, so I'll try and speed through everything I got here. Just kind of got miscellaneous stuff back there. Impact, triple square, Harbor Freight, 1/2 inch, shallow, doesn't get used much. 36 millimeter for Chrysler transverse 3.6 engines to pull the back head oil control valves. Tecton 12.38 and 1/2 inch. Bought those when I worked at an Audi dealership for a little while. Obviously, don't get used much here anymore, but they're there. Harbor Freight 1/2 inch impact. These have been great, fantastic sockets. I've broken a single one and been going for many years at this point. Great sockets for the money. Mako 21, Capri Tools 22, 24, 1/2 inch chrome Harbor Freight. I have broke one of those using it on impact, but that was obviously not what it's rated for. Sunex 3/8 and 1/4 inch. Shallow, and then shallow and deep for 3/8. These sockets have been great. I've had them for several years now. I've never broken one, and they're, I believe, the same exact sockets as Mako ADV, so definitely recommend those. Same gear inch, 1/4 inch 3/8 I've had before. Broke a few of these, but still been great sockets. Both of those were being abused. Definitely still recommend these kits for sure. 50, I think 453 axle hub for my Land Cruiser. Obviously not used often, but that's just for a personal vehicle. CTA flip sockets, still have those. Those have been working fine, which I don't use them anymore, but at the Chrysler store they worked fine. Tecton 1/2 inch shallow 6-point and 12-point sockets. Again, 12 points don't get used. Those are pretty new, and those are just for Audi stuff. But the 6 points have been going great. I haven't broken any of them. X-Core pinless gear inch swivels, except 2 of them have been replaced with Mako ones because both of these broke very quickly. Definitely don't recommend these X-Core ones, but the Mako ones work. They don't get used too often anymore because I got the swivels, or the universals, but they did work in the meantime. Sunex Impact Hex, SAE metric, these work nice. Really like these gear inch 1/4 inch swivels. This 10 has seen more abuse than it should ever have seen, and it's still holding together. It is never broken. So I definitely recommend that socket set if you need some swivels. Vim triple square and a security bit for some of the lights I install here. These were nice for Audi, but obviously don't use them now. Snap-on 3/8 shallow and deep, kind of my backup sockets. I generally go for the gear inch or these Capri impact sockets. These have been holding up fine. I've had them for a few years now. Definitely recommend those. When they generally are pretty good price. These are all my extensions Gear wrench one's still going that I had in the older videos. They're perfectly still intact, and some Harbor Freight extensions, and I don't even know what some other brands are in there, but I don't think I've ever broken an extension, surprisingly. Tucked-in quarter-inch torque wrench, Pittsburgh. These are basically the ratchets I actually use. I still have a bunch of other ones, and you probably saw in my other video I had like the whole left side of the toolbox stacked with ratchets. As a mechanic, when you're actually doing the stuff, you realize you only use a few of them. So, got a Pittsburgh quarter-inch here. That's probably the least used. It's just there just in case. Gear wrench 120 XP. Love this thing. I was expecting this thing to be worn out by now, but the head still works great. The teeth are still smooth, so I definitely recommend that. Snap-on mini quarter-inch Pittsburgh half-inch. This still gets used. It's been pretty good. My favorite ratchet is this quarter-inch one. It's kind of my go-to because generally if I'm using a ratchet, it's because I couldn't fit a power tool wherever it is. So generally I'm grabbing for this one, and same thing. It's been a great ratchet. Definitely recommend. 120 XP flex head as well in the half-inch, and a Pittsburgh breaker bar, and then just like a utility knife. These are Sunex magnetic sockets. Definitely recommend if you do interior work, and sometimes they work for some engine work as well too. Capri Hex and Torx master sets. These have been going or have been really nice. Had them for a few years as well. Only one I've broken on this was a T40. Got it replaced really easily through Capri, so no issues there. And then I have a Mac and Snap-on T30 because the T30 in this is a quarter-inch, which is nice. But sometimes I need it for a 3/8 as well. So I have two 3/8, and generally they're getting used on impacts. So I just have two of them, just in case one breaks, which has happened. So, and then I just got some Milwaukee knives and some miscellaneous feeler gauges, spark plug sockets, brake gauge. Yeah, I believe that's it for the first drawer. So a big look at that. All right. My wrench drawer. As you see, we got snap-on ratcheting wrenches, clutch flare or crow's feet, Pittsburgh line wrenches. I was going to replace these, but these ended up still working every time I used them, so no issues with those. Some crescent wrenches, miscellaneous Harbor Freight stuff that gets used from time to time, and these have been nice for the random time I need a short, flat ratcheting wrench. These are gear wrench. I think the same set I had in the last video. These have been great. Go-to metric wrenches, obviously. And that's really mainly what I've had all this time were these. And they've held up great. I haven't broken a single one. Tecton flex head long ratcheting wrenches. These are really nice, and they're also 6-point, which some people may like, some people won't. I'm kind of neutral on it. I wouldn't mind having like a 12-point or a whatever this kind of end is called. I forget what that end is called, but they're strong. I've broken the 18 once or twice, but they, again, really easy warranty with Tecton. So gear wrench, flex head, ratcheting stubby wrenches. Don't really like those. The flex heads are way too loose in my opinion. Tecton stubby ratcheting and non-ratcheting wrenches. These are kind of my go-to if I need a stubby ratcheting wrench. These have been great. Again, 6-point as well. Really strong. I put a lot of torque on those and never broken one. So here I got Tecton standard size. These are new. As you see, they're nice and shiny still. Just because here I do work with a decent bit of standard stuff, so I finally bought a standard wrench set to go along with it. And these are gear wrench as well. These are from the same set. And then I have a gear wrench 18 here. And then these are Capri ultra thin wrenches. Just, come in handy from time to time. Standard and metric as well. This is a Cobalt bit set. Just as that was my first one, so it's still there in case I need it. Vim bit set. If you're a dealership technician, you should definitely have one of these sets. They come in handy. They're very nice. I also have a Mac bit set here. This is nice to have as well. There are slightly longer bits, and sometimes you need a slightly longer one. Sometimes you need a really stubby one. So kind of got all my bases covered, and these get used a lot, even here. So Makita bit set. This is for like, screwdrivers, or not screwdrivers, drills and stuff. Well, it doesn't want to open. They're kind of not, they're pretty soft. I don't really like them. They round off stuff pretty quick if you're using like the Phillips, but they're pretty cheap, so I can't complain too much. Vector tools, hex sockets. I don't know, I was a dumbass. I didn't need these because my Capri set has these sizes, but I thought I needed them for some reason because they're just like all extra large sizes. But Audi, you need those, so I bought them, not realizing I already had them. And then these are Tecton bit sets, extra long. These have been holding up fine. They almost exclusively get used on impacts and never broken one, so I'd say those are pretty strong and definitely a good buy for the money because they're pretty cheap. Yeah, that's pretty much my whole wrench drawer. This is my third drawer down. So, I got pliers up here, multiple different variations of needle nose. I think those are Snap-on. I think these are Harbor Freight. I don't know what those are. Knipex alligator pliers. These are great. Channel lock, Harbor Freight, vice grips. Milwaukee cutters. I don't even know what the heck those are. I think those are for specific clamps. Irwin cutters. These are really nice because of the extra leverage. They will cut through just about anything you put in them. And then I got some Astro like hose clamp pliers there. Varying trim sticks of different brands that I've collected. Underneath that, some hose cutters. Large Crescent brand channel lock pliers or whatever you want to call them. Snap ring proto snap ring pliers. Work Pro snap-on or snap ring plier set as well. Flush cuts. These little mini snap ring pliers. This is a big 2-inch unibit. Extra drill bits here. 9/16 drill bit. Level. Caliper. Tape measure. Trim sticks. Really like these Matco trim sticks. I lost that one, hence why it's filled with extra drill bits. But this is probably my favorite trim stick tool ever right here. So definitely really nice as a dealership technician, and you'll use this as a lot as a dealership technician as well. But yeah, I really like those trim sticks. Moving this way, I have Mac left-hand thread and right-hand thread extractor sets. Those are pretty nice. And I have Mac short and long drill bit sets. Use those a lot here. As you see, some of them are shorter because they've been replaced with Kimball Midwest bits because I've just smoked them. Don't have a Mac guy in here anymore, so can't really break them and get them warranted like I used to. But Mac bits are good bits, definitely recommend. They do warranty down to the smallest size, which is nice. This is a unibit set, just off Amazon. This is my second one. The first one lasted about 6 months, getting used pretty often, so just bought another one. They're like 20 bucks. And then this is an extractor socket set, I think off Amazon as well. Only used it once or twice, but it works when needed. And then Harbor Freight drill bits. These kind of suck. They work good for like once or twice through metal, but as soon as you start using them on metal, they lose their sharpness pretty quick. C-clamp. You see Harbor Freight, brake grease, Audi drain plug tool, Volkswagen/Audi drain plug tool. Multiple oil filter stuff and some brake tools, brake spreader, Tecton long 1/2-inch torque wrench, the one that goes up to 250 foot-pounds, Toyota oil filter tool, and Matco oil filter socket set. And then I have these. These are triple squares from that same tool brand that was in the other drawer for Audi. Obviously, they don't get used here, and there's not really anywhere else to put them in my toolbox, so they're right there. Carlisle scrapers and files. Bought these recently just because I do use them here a decent bit. But they're all pretty new, but they feel like pretty quality tools, so I like them. Got a Wilton BFH 8-pound sledgehammer here. This is pretty nice for the big stuff. Still using my 4-pound S-Twing hammer. Has held up great. No issues with that. And I got Harbor Freight dead blows here. They're still holding up. Somehow have not busted this one open yet, but it still works. And then just some miscellaneous, like different kind of mallets and a little 1-pound sledgehammer, clutch ball peen, Mako ball peen. And yeah, that's it for my third drawer. I believe I covered everything. This one probably has the least amount of tools in it just because it's so thin, but it's a screwdriver, snap-on set, and then Harbor Freight screwdrivers there. Those have been going. I had no issues with them. Straight edge OEM tools. I think these are Mayhew brass punches. I think that's Mayhew as well. Mayhew, right? Mayhew, Matthew? No, Mayhew. Yeah. Different T-handles and Torx screwdrivers and bit sets. ATD punch set, varying sizes. Some random Harbor Freight punches. Those suck. I would not use those. They're pretty crappy. Snap-on picks, Mako picks. Found this one underneath the hood of a car, hence why it's green. Harbor Freight little micro bit set there, and some extra Allen keys. This is kind of my junk drawer. Just kind of random stuff. AC, UV, light, fish scale, stethoscope, gloves, CV, axle, slide hammer, wire brushes, all those extra ratchets from the older videos, coil pack from a 3.833 minivan, random assortment of crap. Suction cups to hold windows up, seal puller, butane, propane torch, serpentine belt, tool, magnetic claw, and these are all my air hammer chisels and bits there. So yeah, that's all I'm gonna say about that drawer. This is my power tool and air tool drawer. As you see, I've invested in the Ryobi line of tools. All these Ryobi 1 HP tools that they've been coming out with the last year and a half or 2 years, however long they've been out, from what I can tell, are just Gen 1 or older generation Milwaukee technology. If you weren't aware, Ryobi, Rigid, Milwaukee are all owned by the same company. Obviously Milwaukee gets the highest end stuff, and then it just kind of trickles down through the lines as time goes on. But since I've worked here, I've needed a lot more power tools because the airline situation is not very efficient in this shop. So I've just kind of been switching over to electric. And the first thing I bought was this drill here because I needed a drill with a better chuck than what I had before, and that is a metal ratcheting chuck, which is a first for Ryobi. Well, actually, no, it's not. I think one of their older drills did have a metal chuck, but my old drill was spitting bits out, so I bought that, and it was a workhorse for like 6 months straight before I really even bought any of these other tools. But it really convinced me that Ryobi kind of stepped their game up. So it's been a great drill. So I started investing in the rest of their line. They now have multiple impact wrenches to choose from. So this is their high torque impact wrench here. I believe it is the same exact specs as the Gen 1 Milwaukee impact wrench, the 2763, so 1170 foot-pounds of breakaway. This is their mid-torque, 600 foot-pounds of breakaway, and 450 working torque. That's kind of my go-to just because it's smaller and lighter than the high torque, but it's pretty nice. Ryobi die grinder. This thing's actually got tons of power. Only downfall of this is it does get hot pretty quick because of how fast it spins. It spins at like 22,000 RPM, but that's a great tool. Ryobi, so this is my custom impact wrench. It's actually their impact driver, but they didn't, it actually has way more power than it's rated for. So I swapped it to a 1/2-inch anvil from an older Ryobi impact, and it fit perfectly. I wanted to do 3/8, but I couldn't find a 3/8 that fit. That's why I have that one, and then I have another 3/8 impact at home. That's the 3/8 compact impact wrench. Kind of sucks. That's probably my least favorite tool I have from Ryobi. I don't really recommend that as a professional because it's got a plastic case on it and it gets chewed up very easily. And that's a Ryobi temp gun back there. But yeah, that's probably the only tool I don't really care for. Ryobi multi-tool, great for cutting. I usually use it to cut plastic, so obviously it'll cut through that, but it'll cut through other stuff too. Ryobi right angle drill, Ryobi 1/4-inch ratchet that I used to replace the Mako 1/4-inch ratchet because it's the head completely stripped out. Mako 16-volt 3/8 impact, Mako 16-volt drill. I bought this recently off eBay. It's got a ratcheting chuck as well. It's kind of nice to have a really, really thin drill. So between that, the right angle, and the bigger one, I pretty much got all my drilling bases covered, and I do a lot of drilling where I work. So Snap-on MG725, been working pretty good, except late last year it stopped producing the power that it used to the point that this Sun-X started to break bolts free that it couldn't. So it definitely needs a rebuild, but I don't really use air tools anymore, so it's just kind of chilling. Sun-X impact, this is my favorite air impact I own. I got it replaced. I think in my last video, if you watch it, I said it wasn't working. Sun-X sent me a new one, and it's been going great. It is my favorite impact I own, and very powerful for how small it is. Mac air hammer, great air hammer. Napa buzzsaw, or air saw, whatever you want to call it. Recip saw, whatever. Mako 3/8. My first one had an issue just like the Sun-X one did, where it was just shooting air through it. So they gave me another one. It was a fight though. Mako really did not want to give me another impact wrench. Even video proof of this one malfunctioning, and they still didn't want to give me one. But I got one. It works fine. I think this in its 3/8 configuration would beat this because they both have 3/8 and 1/2 inch, but this one, regardless, still feels more torquey by a good bit. So if you want stubby impacts, I would definitely recommend these Sun-X ones. Blue Point tire gauge, broken, or like 3 of them have broken on me for some reason. Husky blowgun, Mako 16-volt 3/8 ratchet, 3-inch Aircat cutoff wheel, Harbor Freight die grinder, Sun-X die grinder. This is my favorite. It's got really good control and it spins really fast. Not a lot of torque, but the speed makes up for it in certain scenarios. And like I said, great trigger control. Mako die grinders, not really good trigger control on those, but very powerful. And then some extra long air hammer bits, or air hammer chisels. Over here, electrical drawer, Mako heat gun. Just got that because my Harbor Freight heat gun finally died after like 4 years. Harbor Freight multimeter, that thing's been great. Did a lot of I got the dealership with that and had no issues. I did have to replace the leads with fluke leads because the factory leads started getting some high resistance in them. Snap-on crimpers, those are nice. Mako wire strippers, different tape, Tessa tape, fuses, relays, Mako connector set, or whatever you want to call it. It does not work at all for Chrysler connectors, but it works on aftermarket connectors I work with now. So just FYI, if you're at a Chrysler dealership, don't bother buying that. Just make your own Chrysler or terminal tool. Take a screwdriver, file it down to a point, and you'll be able to disassemble just about any Chrysler connector with that. Got a soldering iron, or butane, Irwin, multi-tool for electrical stuff, test light. There's some miscellaneous connectors, connector cleaning kit here with like diamond tip stuff, and then 30-foot extended leads under there, and some connector test kit there. In this drawer, I have Ryobi Sawzall, pretty powerful, kills batteries though. Ryobi belt sander, this thing's nice to have for what I do. Ryobi angle grinder, the thing's powerful, also kills batteries. Ryobi 3-inch cutoff wheel, this is my go-to cutoff wheel. This thing's freaking awesome. I actually let the smoke out of this and it still works, so I let the smoke out of it like cutting for like 25 minutes straight, and it was flashing telling me to stop, but I didn't stop. So Ryobi sander, random orbit sander, Some extra gloves, sanding pads down there. Noco jump box. Found this on the side of the road, believe it or not. I also have a Matco jump box at home. But yeah. And then brake caliper tool there. Doesn't really fit anywhere else, so that's why it's in here. And then a respirator if I'm working with some like aluminum or something. And oh yeah, my 1/4-inch Matco ratchet. The head keeps splitting open, and then the teeth don't engage anymore. And now it's to the point that the motor can't even spin the anvil anymore. So needs a new head, but I can't buy a head from Matco, and I don't have a Matco guy. Only the Matco guy can get new heads for it. So, yeah, that's pretty much all my tools. Oh, no, sorry. Got one more drawer. I don't use this drawer anymore, so that's why I forgot about it. It's all stuff you use at a dealership, obviously. Fuel line kit there for removing, all kinds of different fuel lines. Fuel pressure tester. Vacuum, Mighty Vac vacuum puller, or whatever you want to call it. Cooling system refiller. This thing's great for saving time on filling cooling systems, and very little chance you're going to have an air bubble. It's right there. Pulley remover set. Cooling system pressure tester, and that's the set that I bought for Audi that I only needed one tool out of. I think it's like a coil pack remover set. Like, it comes with different sizes, but you only needed one for Audi. O2 sockets, an oil pressure sensor socket set, and some torque sticks, Blue Point oil filter set, bearing race seal installer, and then compression and leak down testers, bearing packer, and then that's the clamp for that Matco 16-volt light that's up there. Yeah, that's pretty much it. Hope you guys enjoyed. I try to make it as quick as possible because I have a lot of tools in here, as you can see. Yeah, thanks for watching. Peace out.